How's it going, everybody? Hello. Can you hear me okay? I hate what I'm wearing. I put on this jacket, which I like, but it looks like I'm... You know what? Let me tell you something. What's going on here? Oh. It looks like I don't have... I don't know. I mean, my mother, she's not watching right now. She might later. I can't... Well, here I go. I started telling the story. I gotta tell it. Steph, how's the sound? Are we okay? Uh-oh.
I was muted. It sounds good.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, so thank you very much. So, so my mom and I was home for the Thanksgiving holiday. I hope everybody had a fantastic holiday. Aside from an argument with my younger sister, which that was not good, but then it turned out to be good, you know, because I understood something about myself. I learned, you know, about my family. Anyway, no, I mean it though. It was sometimes there's a, you know, learning curve for some of these things. Anyway, aside from that, which ultimately was good, it was like a great holiday. I mean, really, really good. Yeah, I mean, it was fantastic to connect with my mom, and to be at the Iowa Quilt Museum. This is all getting back to the story, the scandalous story about Mary Ann Fonz that I'm about to tell. So that's a bit loud. God, is she here? Hey, Christy's Quilting Boutique. Hi! I just got your text. Ah, this is great. Christy, welcome to Quilt Nerd. Some welcome baskets in the chat for Christy would be great. She has a shop in Rockford, Connecticut, and you should all go there. Anyway, so we have a top secret conversation to have soon in the next couple days. Anyway, so I went home to Winterset, Iowa, and many of you were with me and my mom. We did a special Sunday social, which is going to come up tonight, content-wise, a little bit later in the show. We also did a tour of the latest exhibit at the current exhibit at the Iowa Quilt Museum, which was amazing. And a lot of that stuff is subscriber only because as we've gone on, you know, it's been about a year and a few months now that we've been doing this show. And the more I do it, the more the community builds, the more we sort of, I mean, I don't know, I hope it's okay to say, Cake, but like the more that we do this, I think the more we all kind of realize, like, hey, this is really valuable. Like, we're really all learning something, right? And we're really building something. And when that's kind of a catchphrase, like, we're really building a thing. It's a community, and it's explorations, and it's like all these things. And when you first start a thing, and then I want to ask you to throw your 2 cents in, stuff, because you've been around for a long time and you're in this, right? But like in the beginning, you know, you start a thing. I'm going to get back to the scandalous story about Mary Ann Fonz. Don't you? I know how to dog ear things in my mind. I have a tab. I have a mental tab. But when you're first building a thing, it's like, I mean, some of you supported the show as subscribers early on, which is amazing. You're like, I believe in this thing. But as you go on, you kind of say, well, what started as an idea and was like kind of rough, finding its feet, starts to have a shape. And as a thing starts to have a shape, you say, I really like that shape. I really want that, you know, in my life. And so more stuff is becoming subscriber stuff. And that seems right, doesn't it, Steph? I mean, it makes sense, right?
I think so. You know, we've done our big push for, you know, getting Quilt Nerd out to people because we want people to come join this fun. Yeah. But we also recognize the importance of the community and. You know, I appreciate that you do, you know, more and more things for subscribers and kind of keeping the inner circle, you know, yes. And you still do lots of fun stuff for anybody that's willing to come by. But we really recommend, for those of you that, you know, maybe don't talk to us much, you know, the two-way, you're kind of lurker lounge, know that we appreciate the heck out of you, you know, and you're special. This community is so special.
Thank
and
you.
I know that sounds dorky and cliche,
no.
But it's for real.
No, it does not. In fact, I'm going to play the Hannah Fonz hype horn for that comment. It's true. No, it really is true. I mean, you know, before this was a thing, I didn't know any of you. Well, I mean, I knew a few of you. I did know my mom. Speaking of my mom, so we were, you know, where my mom and my stepdad live is paces, really. I've never counted how many paces from the door of the Iowa Quilt Museum, but it's a quick walk. I mean, we're talking like it's a block away, okay? in Winterset, Iowa. And the day I left, we had to run over and get something. And my mom, God, are you here, Mom? All right. She was like, well, she's like, do I have to go over and help you? And I was like, you don't have to. It'd be better if you did. I had to move a box. And she was like, I was like, oh. She's like, just a minute. And she was like, gonna go, she was in her robe. And she's like, go put on clothes. Yeah. And so she comes out in her pajamas. And they're like short pajamas. I mean, they're not like skivvies, but she's like wearing like, pajamas. And they weren't like footy pajamas. They were like shorts pajamas. And she's like, it's fine. It's not that cold. So she puts on her coat, which was long. But this lady skibbled up to the Iowa Quilt Museum in her pajamas, wrapped in her coat. And she was like, it's Sunday morning early. No one will be, no one will. And it's like, so she had her bare legs running around under her coat. Anyway, it was amazing. And of course, like 3 people walked by. It was great. So anyway, that was part of the fun of being home, was being ridiculous with my mom. And yeah, part of the content tonight has to do with something that we looked at on the Sunday social. There's 3 tiers to subscriptions here. There's tier 1 and tier 2 and tier 3. And as you sort of go up the line and support the show in these different ways, you get different stuff, right? And I'm working on a video. In fact, worked on it today. I did a lot of Quilt Nerd stuff today. To sort of explain what do you get with the tiers and all that. Oh, it's raining. The rain is lashing the windows. That's exciting. Wonderful. I love it. So it's good to be home, and the I'm not going to talk about the subscription stuff anymore. It's painful, physically painful for me to do the sales stuff. I just like the content. But I thought I would do a thing that I shared on Sunday, very much at the end of the private stream, because I thought about it again. I recited a sonnet. Okay, don't worry. I'm not like, what I really want to do is recite poetry. I mean, I have recited poetry in my life, like professionally, like really. People paid me to like do poetry. Okay, it's on YouTube. You can find it. It's a very long time ago, but I just like it. I like learning poems. I think it's good for my brain. It's really nice, if you're ever at a campfire and you need to like, I don't know if it, somebody passes the mic to you, at a campfire, you should have something, right? And a sonnet's 14 lines. It's very short. And if it's a really great sonnet, it's like, it's a sonnet. It's like a really good sonnet. So it's good to have these kinds of things in pocket. That's what I think. They have come in handy in my life, seriously. So I've been learning sonnets and by Elizabeth Barrett Browning, and I'm going to tell you why, okay? Because it has everything to do with quilts, really. So I've been looking at this woman, right? Bertha Meckstroth. I've been reading about her life. We know about Bertha. I mean, look, if you're tired of hearing about Bertha Meckstroth, I don't know what to tell you. She's going to be around, right? But people who watch the show know that this is this quilt maker who was active in the 1930s and the 40s and the 50s. She died in 1960. And I'm researching about her because months and months ago on this show, it was like, hey, there ought to be like, somebody ought to write about some of these amazing quilt makers. Estelle Witherspoon, and Bertha Meckstroth, Fran Soika, these wonderful people. These wonderful women, for the most part, who haven't really been written about. So I'm writing about people because I want to write at least one piece, one chapter of what could be a manuscript. I don't know. One chapter about this woman. Okay. So what does it mean? What does it mean to write a biography, even if it's just an essay, right? I've never done it before, and I love it. Well, talking about this kind of thing in a community like this, one of the best things about what we're building here is that we have this group of people who are engaged and curious and rather ravenous about the topic at hand, which is quilt culture, right? Mostly in the United States, but North America and beyond, but we live here. The person who makes the show, the top-down situation is that, I'm here in the United States, and so it's kind of home turf, right? So we have this community of people. Well, if you start talking about something you want to research or do, or if we're watching this show and something comes up and it's like, oh, that would be a really great research project or a really cool thing to investigate. We now have the official. We're putting Emma Andres. Oh no, it's the goose. If we ever, it never knew where to be. The goose honk never knew where it was living. It never knew what it was for. But now we know that if there's a really good, meaty, research project that should be done, it's something we come across on the show that just is really great and ripe for investigation. Yeah, it's the goose. So whenever you hear that, you know that something good is there, and you should maybe follow it. You don't have to be a writer, you don't have to be a scholar or an academic. You just have to be a person who is curious about something. And those ivory towers of academia, God bless our scholars. We need them. If we didn't have them, the show wouldn't be what it is. But you don't have to have letters behind your name to read and to look into stuff. So I'm like, I want to write about Bertha Maxdorf. I want to write about Bertha Maxdorf. And talking about it, you know who sent me this picture? You know where I got this? Word and Bird Nerd. Are you in here? Hey, Theodore, coming in with that music. I haven't said hi to anybody yet because I'm on a tear. But let me tell you something. I'll tell you the picture I had. Here's the one picture I had of Bertha Maxdorf till the other day. I had this picture, and this is an article about Bertha that was written in 1981 by Joyce Gross. Rest her soul. And you know who sent me this? Well, actually, two people sent it to me. Quilt nerds Mary Kay Waldvogel and Jonathan Holstein, independently, sent me that. It wasn't a mimeograph, God, I wish it was. But it was a photocopy of this Quilter's Journal article from 1981. Okay, so that was the picture I had. But then, Word and Bird Nerd comes along. Hello, my dear. Hello. And she's like, hey, Mary, I'm sure you have this picture of Bertha Maxdorf, but just in case you don't, here it is. Look at this woman. Look at her. I mean, first of all, I had to figure out what's going on with her hands. Okay, I had to actually outline her fingers because I was like, she had an extra thumb, which would be interesting. I don't think she did. But look at this woman. She's like, she was an artist. I mean, really, a sculptor. But she couldn't lift the stones. She was small and frail from polio. Anyway, so Word and Bird Nerd gets into Ancestry.com just because, this is how we do it around here. We just look at stuff and we find things and we help each other, right? And so I get this email from the bird, and she's like, I know you have this picture probably, but here it is. I emailed the person from Ancestry.com who owned the tree. I actually don't know how Ancestry.com works. And she's like, here's what they wrote back. And I mean, I won't read the email, but it was like, oh yeah, Bertha was my wife's aunt. We've got trunk loads of things. Can you believe it? Can you?
So first of all, there are some talented people as far as research goes in this group.
They're little scamps is what they are. Please continue.
Y'all put me to shame, and I always felt like a super nerd, but y'all put me to shame.
Same.
I mean, the fact that we now have the technology just to go out and find Bertha Maxdorf's ancestor, or well, not ancestors. What is it when you're going in the opposite? Progeny? I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh my God! And what if they said, you know what, Mary? We'll just take detailed pictures of all of her quilts we have. Would you die?
I mean, yeah, I could, and I might. In fact, hang on. That's a video we're gonna watch later. Don't look at that. Hang on. No, I can't. Look, it's always a bad idea. Always stop me if I'm like, I'll just pull this up on the internet real quick. It rarely is a good idea, but I can tell you, and Word and Bird Nerd can tell you, that, Scrapitude's a genealogist. Interesting. That was me winding my mustache. Excited. The person was like, yeah, and The person said, I don't know. Now, Word and Bernard wouldn't know this because I've read more about Bertha at this point than you have. Maybe. But they said Aunt Bertie was adopted by the Mextroths. And I was like, oh, was she? That ain't in this article that she was adopted. So this is a problem because I have lots to do for Quilt Folk, this big project. I have quilt nerd things to do. I mean, I put holiday music in the intro. I don't know if anybody noticed, but like, I was like, I gotta get the holiday music in the intro. But there's lots of stuff to do. But I mean, between this, reading about biography, and reading about this woman, and being hot on the trail, I don't even know what to do with myself. And it's not the only thing. I don't know if Sherlock Sews is in here. Well, Sherlock Sews. One of the things I found out about this woman and her quilts, some of them were sold to Christie's auction house. Well, on the co-working stream the other day, there's a co-working stream tomorrow starting at 8 a.m. Should totally tune in. It's super fun. On this channel. It's great. We just work. Sherlock's like, I think I know what to do. I'm going to email Christie's. I'll see what I can do to see if Christie's has an inventory of the quilts that they bought. They got back to her. Quickly. And they were like, we don't have a thing, but do you have any other, like, basically, substantiating, reference for us to know where to look? And I do. And so I'm going to send it to Sherlock. Anyway, it's very exciting. I got off on all of this because this community is great. And also Hollis Turnbow, does anybody know that name, Hollis Turnbow? He is a very interesting person. We got to talk about Hollis Turnbow at some point. He should be a nerd. I'll tell him about it. Anyway, Hollis Turnbow is a quilt maker, and he's also a scholar person. I met him once long ago. Anyway, I emailed him because his name is invoked in this Joyce Gross article, this one from 1981. And I sent him an email. I'm like, hello, Mr. Turnbow. We met once long ago. I'm doing this research on Bertha Mextroth. I was wondering, This was like the day before Thanksgiving. Like 10 minutes later, my phone rings. It's Hollis Turnbow. He's like from West Virginia. He's like, Mary, this is Hollis Turnbow. I'm like, Hollis Turnbow? I'm like, well, this is Mary Fonzie. He's like, I know who you are. I've seen you around. He didn't have quite that thick of an accent, but I like to think he did. I mean, I like to do that impression. Anyway, I'll keep you updated, okay? I'll keep you updated. It's exciting. This is a cool thing. And anybody who supports the show, even just by watching it, even by watching the reruns or the older episodes on YouTube and hitting the like and the subscribe button means a lot. And because I've gone on so long, I'm going to do the sonnet at the end of the show. Who cares, right? Who cares? I mean, come on. Yeah. She's our art, okay? But I will do this on it because, and the whole thing is that when I was on a call yesterday with Leslie Levy, the executive director of the Quilt Museum in Lincoln, Nebraska, and Carolyn Ducey, the head curator, and Mike McCormick at Quilt Folk, myself. We were on this call because Mike and I are going to be on a textile talk on January 18th, okay, for the Quilt Museum. You should watch all of the textile talks. You should subscribe to the International Quilt Museum's channel, like all the videos, all that stuff, okay? And so Mike and I are going to do a talk on the 18th of January, and we're talking about what we're going to do. And I said, one of the things I love about Quilt Folk is that Quilt Folk looks at the whole quilter, the whole person. Because we're not just like quilt fans. We're not just people who like dig quilts or make quilts. We're people. We have other interests. We have lives, We have wardrobe malfunctions. We mess up the filters so we look like Cruella de Vil, on our live stream. I mean, there's a lot more to life than just quilts. We just like this stuff, and we like to look at it and think about it. But Quilt Folk, I think, is really good at exploring the whole person. And so, the reason that I would ever share a poem with you all, an Elizabeth Barrett Browning poem, oh yeah, now I remember, is because we all are interested in different things, and like a sonnet is beautiful. And now I remember the connection. Bertha Mextroth, when she was at Radcliffe, learned Braille. I may have mentioned this, so that she could translate poems for Helen Keller, because she was at Radcliffe with Helen Keller. This woman knew Helen Keller, and she was friends with her at Radcliffe. And she learned Braille so she could translate sonnets from the Portuguese by Elizabeth Barrett Browning. 49 sonnets written in 1846 or so, 1847, published in 1850. Bertha did the whole book for Helen Keller in Braille. And I was like, sonnets from the Portuguese, what is that? Because I'm researching her. And I started reading sonnets from the Portuguese, and I just was like, I was like, they're so beautiful. And so, for fun, I'm learning some. I don't know about all 49, but I'm learning a few. I've got three pretty close. One of them's down pat, and so I'll do that at the end of the show. All right? Okay. Whew, I know. Drink wine and Zolan, Jan make stuff, Druid Godmother. Hey, I bet you called me sugar. I bet you did. You call me sugar again, just in case. You know, you want to. Druid Godmother calls me sugar, and I love it. Makes me so happy. Hey, Dee Dee Brew Crew. Oh, God. Oh, why is it so good? Why do I love it? I don't even know.
And there was no monkey business about it either.
I mean, I don't even know what to do. Anyway, I love it. I won't even make too big of a deal about it. It'll be cool. Be cool. So, thank you. So anyway, Bridgewater's here and Saucy Stitcher, Jill Alex. Okay. Mother Nature noticed the music. Thank you. Thank you very much. The holiday music. Court Quilts, Auntie Sen. I'm going to say hi to everybody I can as we go along. Susan. Yes. Scrappy. Yes. Quilted Soul. Yay. So here's what we do. So Stephanie Cake has a very exciting announcement. I'm going to give the mic to her to do the announcement. So we'll talk about that in a second. But real quick, because I want to make sure that people who are tuning in know that we don't just chat around here. I got to get small. Hang on. Help, I'm small. We don't just chat here. We fix our green screen live while everyone's watching. You know what? I need more over here, people. Hang on. Is that gonna help? A little, yes. Okay. We don't just chat. We look at things, and we're gonna look at a lot of stuff tonight. We always start with a different quilt behind me. This is an unusual quilt, isn't it? Looks almost like a blanket. What could it be? We're gonna look at this intro quilt. Stephanie's gonna talk about the very cool announcement that has to do with Jill Alex, actually. And then we're gonna talk about wearable art. Yeah. Tonight is a great night because I'm home. I'm back in Chicago. Traveling's great. But I gotta tell you, these old school quilt nerd episodes, y'all, where we like dip into a book and we like chat and we watch a video. I mean, oh my God, it's my favorite thing. So, what are we looking at and why do we care? All right. This is a detail shot of this quilt. It is right. Where did you go? Here you are. This. Okay. Hey, Riggs. Hey, yo, Riggs. What's up? Lisa Riggs. Hello. This quilt is by Naomi Clark. Naomi Clark. I'm going to zoom in on it. I know we just saw a detail shot, but we're going to zoom in. Okay. Here's what you're looking at. I have many pictures of her work. There's a lot of her work, and I'll tell you where to find it in just a minute. But this is one of those stumble upon kinds of things, everybody. I was looking for one thing and found something else. This piece is called Smooth Tower. Okay. Naomi Clark's quilt paintings are made from vintage camp blankets culled from eBay, flea markets, and garage sales. She refigures the old blankets to create abstract and colorful tapestries and describes her process as, quote, painting with fabric. Beyond painting the blankets, Naomi uses other processes such as dyeing, cutting, appliquing, and embroidery to make the quilt paintings. I think they look pretty cool, I gotta be honest. I mean, it's interesting, but there's more to say. There's more to say in terms of the commercial aspect of this. Because, well, let me just, why tease you? These quilts, these quilt paintings, which are available on First Dibs, a fascinating place to be and hang out when you're a quilt nerd, from between like $2,000 to $5,000. That's the range, okay, for the quilt paintings by Naomi Clark. okay? And I have thoughts. I have thoughts about this. It's not just thoughts. I don't have thoughts that are limited to what's up with that? That's wild. I have thoughts that confuse me and I feel conflicted. I feel conflicted about the pricing of these objects. And so we can talk about it. Here's a detail shot with her signature there, Naomi Clark. Okay. Beyond painting the blankets, Naomi Clark, this is from her website. Naomi Clark is a painter, installation photographer. Let me grab another. Oh, here's a detail of this. Oh, this one. I didn't show this one yet. Naomi Clark is a painter, installation photographer. Interesting. She works in paint, fabric, and landscape, repurposing materials in unexpected lyrical combinations. I like that very much. Sorry, we got a siren. Hang on. Okay. Division Street, man. What can I say? So she works in paint, fabric, and landscape, repurposing materials in unexpected lyrical combinations. Her current work explores the limits of material gesture. I like that too. And revealing, through juxtaposition of color, innate links between seemingly dissimilar objects. You know, Stephanie Cake, you and I have talked about artist statements and how they can really get like, woo, they can kind of go off the rails. Whoa, I look like I'm swaying. Wait, hold on. But that's good. That's succinct. I like that. Lyrical combinations, and the juxtaposition of color, the innate links between, the limits of material gesture. I like that. I think that's really good. I mean, what is that? That's like 30 words or something. Well, maybe 50. What do you think about this work, Stephanie? What do you think? Talk to me.
I think it's interesting.
Yeah.
You know,
me too.
I really like the idea of like what she's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Yep, me too. Me too.
I just went on the First Dibs site and looked her up.
Yeah.
So I'm just scrolling through some of her stuff, and some of these I don't think are. I think it's showing me other stuff too, but some of them I really respond to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, visually, I'm like, oh, that is fascinating looking, and then others I'm like, meh.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. This one, I love this. I think this is great. I would for sure hang this up. I mean, and someone, you know, you might not like this one as much as others, but there's something about, they look like falling pants. I don't know. Falling pants with 3 legs. I'm into it. And so the cost of these. First, so what's very interesting is her painting. So she's a painter, and these are from her website. This is for sure a gouache print and a gouache piece, unframed, and it's like they range from like $180 to $215. I mean, really affordable. I mean, not for everyone, right? But if you want a piece of art by somebody who's like, you know, accomplished, $215 will get you. I mean, my family, we do a Secret Santa, or we draw names and we buy one gift, you know, for somebody, and our limit is $200. It's like, that's it. You know, you spend $200 and you get something. I mean, I could get this for somebody for a Christmas present, and it's affordable. So it's interesting because some of these works, you know, are $3,000, you know, and she didn't buy paper, right? She bought the blanket. I don't mean to say like, oh, what a crock at all, but it's just interesting. And so my conflicting ideas, and here's a painting. So this painting is on canvas, okay, oil on canvas. So already you're talking about a different, you know, price sort of structure, price, it's a different medium, right? So things are priced differently. Pink Clouds Virgo Moon on her website is $3,100. So and this is 30 by 24. Steph, if you've got the website up, how big are the quilted paintings about? They're bigger than 30 by 24, right? I mean, that's fairly small. I mean, a baby quilt is like, I don't know. It depends. It really depends, but it could be like 50 by 30.
Yeah, I'm looking at the one that I don't know if these can't be accurate. So the one that's like the mountain with the three-legged pants.
Yeah.
That one, it says it's.
Oh no.
I think it's supposed to say 41 by 50 inches.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So yeah.
Yeah, 41 by 50. So this is a painting, 20 by 24, and it's 2,100. So it's just an interesting thing. And when I say, you know, I had conflicting thoughts about the price, it's just the same old, like, saw, or like the same old thought. How do we price textile art? How do we price quilts? How do we price fabric in fine art? And I don't know, man. I mean, it's the thing, you know, I did the lecture on quilts in fine art because I just kept coming back to that whole question, are quilts art or not? And I was like, you know what, let me just stop sort of answering it, you know, automatically, which is, you know, my answer is always like, yes, of course, but why do I answer it that way? Let me really dig into this. And you know what, Steph? I'm feeling it. Like tonight, it just hit me. I got to dive into costs and capitalism on all this stuff. I have got to do some thinking about because Mara Ambrose, when I was at QuiltCon, and then I'll toss it to you, Steph, because I want to hear what you have to say, but like when I was at QuiltCon, my mom and I actually, speaking of my mom, we were doing a thing a couple years ago, like an interview, and Mara Ambrose was in the audience, and she came to the mic for the Q&A, and she was like, how do you price a quilt? And you know, I mean, that was the essence of her question. And it's like, girl, I do not know. And we had conversations about it afterward. Anyway, what were you going to say?
You know, this is a conversation I could probably go on and on and on about,
right?
Get on a soapbox, have myself like really mentally challenged about it.
Mm-hmm.
But where my head goes is, for those of you that don't know, I have a Bachelor of Fine Arts in crafts.
That's right.
And I split my time between metalsmithing and textiles. And, you know, I come from the perspective of, if somebody's going to buy my work, they're really buying the time and energy I put into it. That's like a very crafts person mindset. For instance, I do have a quilt in my portfolio that I have a pretty astronomical price on it.
Yeah.
And part of that is because I really don't want to sell it.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
The other
Yeah.
piece of it is the number of hours I put into it, because it's hand pieced. There's a lot of hand embroidery on it. You know, and I look at that like, I could never let this quilt go for less than, you know, X number of dollars because of all the effort I put into it. But then you look at the art market, and I mean, we're not talking about her stuff here, but you look at the art market and somebody will pay $1 million for a banana taped to a wall.
Yeah.
You know, and so stuff like that, it's like, you know, if you have this brilliant idea that can be, you know, some way made into a commodity, you know, whether that's a banana taped to a wall or a quilt that I spent 300 hours on, you know, it's like, it's so complicated.
It is.
Because people will spend $1 billion for a banana taped to a wall in the right kind of market, but I would really have to find a very specific person to buy my quilt at the price I have it priced at.
You know, I heard something. It's fascinating. I mean, like, as a person who is formally trained, Steph, and like who does sell work, who also makes it for pleasure, who also does commissions, right? Like, you are one of the people I would want to talk to you very seriously about how to be sort of like I don't know, really potentially boring about it, to put it in a boring way. Like, where do capitalism and textiles intersect? In terms of, like, you know, the market. I mean, how does it work? I mean, and if you want to get really nerdy, I mean, the Marx, right? There is an essay about this, about use value, right? And quilts. I mean, there's different ways to value a quilt. You can value it monetarily, and that gets really hard, but you can also value it because it's your family. I mean, a quilt by my mom, like, let's just say,
priceless.
Yes, like, God forbid my mom, you know, well, she will one day, okay, but she passes away. We got a lot of quilts, right? What do I sell a quilt for? But by my mom. I mean, it's like, I guess it could fetch a fair price in the market, but like, how do you it's completely arbitrary. And the problem is with us quilt people, we give them away, which is proof that they're beyond cost. And yet, we ought to be able to make a little money on it if we want to and make a fair price. I mean, I could spend my whole life doing just this, right? Talking about it. Anyway, so fascinating stuff. The quilt paintings. So if you just joined us, I saw Kenny come in. Hello. We're talking about the quilt paintings of one Naomi Clark, who I dig. I gotta say, I think I'm into it. I think she's got a lot of talent. She's a painter with skill. And so, so the quilt paintings, man. There they go. There they are. And Steph, could you throw in the chat like her page or whatever on First Dibs? Indeed, my great cats, it is very complicated. Susan Armichael, you've sold work, Susan. I try to get my work out there regardless of whether it will sell, but I always put the right price, not overpriced, because I want to be realistic and educate the public about true prices. Okay, that's right. People, I learned this a long time ago. It's an adage many people have heard, if you're a gig person or a freelancer, people will value you as much as you value yourself. And if you give away your work for free, you're always going to give it away, right?
Well, exactly. And that's something I've learned I've been a freelancer on and off for over 15 years. And there are some times when I'll throw a number out there just to see what happens.
Yes, absolutely.
People will pay for things based on how they value it.
Yeah.
And if you tell somebody, I make $100 an hour, and they have true value in the thing that you're doing for them, they will gladly pay. Oh, okay, $100 an hour means I don't have to do it myself.
Yep.
Other people would look at you and say, "Are you freaking kidding me?"
Yeah. Right. And then that's not your gig, right? Like you said, you priced this one quilt really high because you're like, that's the price I'm willing to give it up for. And I've done that too with gigs. I'm like, you know what? I don't have the bandwidth. But look, I do it for this. That would make it more of a realistic thing. Yeah. And you know what? Yeah. I've done it a few times, and I remember once they said it's just out of our budget, and I was like super relieved. I was like, great. Because I couldn't really do it, but it's so great. But then, a couple other times they've been like, okay, and I've been like, well, all right then, and it's not manipulation. It's not that. And I think women in particular, we worry about, we don't want to ask for too much. I mean, I'm saying like kind of a truth. I know it's not true for every person, but as a female person, I undervalue myself, and I feel bad about asking for what I need. Damn it.
What's interesting is we have had a little bit of a discussion about this on the disco recently.
Yeah. Oh, interesting.
We were just talking about, I don't want to out the person.
Sure. Yeah.
I know they're here tonight, but and we like to keep what happens in the disco on the disco.
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
Talk about it.
Yeah, sure.
But the person was saying, hey, somebody approached me about buying one of my quilts.
Oh, yeah.
And, how much should I charge them? And so, we all kind of threw in our opinions, but it's so hard.
Yeah.
It is so hard.
Yeah.
I mean, not just these kind of like bigger picture topics that you're talking about here, but just the very thought of something you put a little bit of yourself or a lot of yourself into.
Yeah.
And it's just so complicated. I could talk about this forever.
I know. So, and I could too. Yeah. Go on.
Yeah. And I was just going to say on the topic of quilts, Sam Hunter, and I'll put the link in here, but if any of you are familiar with Sam Hunter, she a couple years ago did a really, really strong breakdown about like what it actually costs to make a quilt and why you gotta charge, what it's worth. And
I gotta write that down. Was it a blog post? Was it a blog post?
It is. She's done multiple blog posts about it. Yeah, it's called. I actually think I still have it pulled up, and I looked for it the other day to give it to somebody. Great. And it's called something of what is it? What you're charging, what we're worth, or something like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fascinating. Well, you know what I'm thinking about at the private stream on Sunday. It came up that, and you were like super into it, Cake. You were like, do it. To go through the Quilt Folk Life book and just tell some stories about the photos that are in there, because I hadn't thought about that book in a while, and it's so good. So we'll do that. But then also, let's come back to this topic and do like a dedicated Quilt Nerd show about this. And that's the whole show. And that's what we talk about. and I'll talk to you all and gather some different things to look at and gather some different things. But like, let's just talk about it. I mean, this is our, like, we're the anti-guild, right? We're never going to have a board. Believe me. We're never going to, there's no officers, right? In fact, my friend Jonathan, who is a nerd, who's probably watching, said, he called me, he wrote me an email. He was like, "Dear officer, that's what you can be that because you work out of an office." So I'm the officer, okay? And anyway, so we'll just have a dedicated conversation. We'll have a focus group and just talk about this one particular topic, because I know that everybody watching probably has thoughts about this, and it's just fascinating. Ooh, Court Quilt said Ebony Love. I love Ebony Love. She was a columnist in Quilty. Sam Hunter is awesome. Loved her post on the Ebony Love and Craft Alliance controversy. Oh, interesting. Oh, Sam Hunter. Well, I gotta write her down too. Oh no, I just wrote her down.
Yeah, Sam Hunter's she's got things to say. She's just an interesting person.
I'm into it. Yeah. I like interesting. Interesting is my type. I don't have a type, but interesting, you know? That's my type. That's why I like all y'all. So, okay. 70 Cake, you have the floor. Continue to have the floor and tell me about what's going on, because this has come up, and this is you and Jill's little scamping around. Tell me, I made this graphic and I don't even know really what it's about. So
Mary's like, "Oh, we don't know what we're doing. We're gonna do it though."
Yeah.
So I can't take credit for any of this other than being the person that put it in front of Mary to do. Yay. But I think you guys will like it.
Yeah.
So Jill came up with this, and because Jill works in a museum, Jill knows about fundraising.
That's right.
So she reminded me that it is Giving Tuesday. You know, in the U.S., we have our Black Friday, our Cyber Monday, and our Giving Tuesday, which, you know, I think that's like a really nice way to think about the holidays, you know, whether you celebrate Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever, just get in the spirit of the season. Is that, you buy presents for your family and friends. If you're like me, you buy a few presents for yourself, and then you think about, I'm going to give back to other people or places during this holiday season.
Yep.
And so Jill gave us the idea of having every Tuesday in December be Quilt Nerd Giving Tuesday, and we are going to select a worthy museum.
Woohoo!
And you guys are going to get to pick who it is, except for this week. We went ahead and picked the Iowa Quilt Museum.
Yay!
Because it is Mary's home. It's Mary's home museum.
Yay!
The Iowa Quilt Museum has been super generous to the quilt nerd community.
Indeed.
The T2s and 3s got some, you know, really special time with Mary Ann Fons at the Iowa Quilt Museum. So really fun, exciting. They've done some really neat stuff, and they're really a wonderful space. So we want to support them. So here's the deal about these Giving Tuesdays. We're going to start today with the Iowa Quilt Museum. If you will donate to them, and I will put the donation link in the chat in a sec. If you will donate at least $5 to them, send us a screenshot of your donation.
Yeah.
Then we're going to put you in a drawing on Saturday. And this can be anybody that watches this show. This is not just for subscribers.
Yay!
We want to get anybody and everybody who will support museums during this time of year. You know, we want to give you something. So if you will send it, and I'm going to give you the email address too. If you'll send us the screenshot, we're going to put you in a drawing. We'll do our first drawing on Saturday, and you will pick the next museum who gets all of our love.
What?
So, you know, if you're feeling really, really generous, then donate something every Tuesday, or, you know, during the week. You'll have till Saturday to do your donation. Or if, you know, there's a particular museum that comes up that you're like, yeah, I know that museum. I'm going to give my donation this year to that museum. Do it that way. However you want to do it. Send us the screenshot, and you get your name in the drawing. And they're good drawing items. Jill is offering up the first one, and I'm offering up something too.
Yes.
I'll have to tell you later what mine is, because I have to figure out exactly what it is.
well, listen, that's fair, because now that I understand it more, like Stephanie's like, this is a great thing, like, this is awesome. I was like, it sounds amazing, and I understood like most of it, but now that I'm hearing the whole thing along with you, I'm like, oh man, my graphic sucks. Like, I'm gonna put like pictures of all the museums, and I just tried to maybe pull you in on guest stars so we could see you on the screen talking about this stuff, but I have to like log into my thing anyway. The next time we talk, which is Friday morning, because this week is a morning show week, Friday at 9 a.m. Central morning show. there's even more. You're gonna see different museums. You're gonna like want to give more every Tuesday. But it won't be Tuesday. But you're gonna know more about it. So a week from tonight, you can like totally donate. Anyway, so we'll have Steph on screen and she can talk about it. And Jill, you're amazing. But Steph, this is a great idea. So recap, what do folks need to do if they want to get in for the giveaway? It is brilliant, Lisa.
Yep. So I just dropped their donation link in, and I'll drop it in again before the end of the show. So it's right up there. I highlighted it. All you need to do is you'll get a receipt of some kind in your, through email or on the screen. Just take a screenshot of it. So, we know that you did the thing. Mm-hmm. And then send us an email to quiltnerdshow@gmail.com. Mm-hmm. I'm just typing that in now.
Great.
And I will take care of getting you in the drawing. And if you can, even though we're opening this up to everybody who watches the show. If you have a Twitch handle that you can give us, just so we know who you are.
Yeah.
It's nice to be able to match people up with, like, because a lot of times, like, we get emails and I'm like, okay, who are you again?
It's like, my great cats. Like, we know we love you, but
yeah, you go by a different name. So, and I know sometimes you probably forget we don't necessarily have your real identity here unless you tell us. So just keep that in mind. If you can just let us know your handle and all of that.
And all you sexy lurker lounge people.
Yeah.
And you in particular. Jill, we don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, Jill is saying we'll put it in the disco too. So yes, absolutely. We'll recap in the disco.
Awesome. Hey, thank you for subscribing. Everybody who subscribed or resubscribed tonight. I mean, Jill, you're amazing. This is an amazing thing. And by the way, hi, Richard. Citizen Richard is a new friend. Anybody who's re-upping or subscribing tonight, following, if you haven't followed the show, just hit the follow button. That's free. I really appreciate it. So this is a wonderful way to give back. And it's a brilliant idea. Thank you to Jill. And thank you to 70 Cake. And who knows? Maybe I'll throw in a little something for the folks who donate. Because, this whole show, the AQSG, the New England Quilt Museum, the Quilt Index, right? The Iowa Quilt Museum. These are the people who came before, y'all. I mean, Quilt Nerd is like a spring chicken. We like basically don't exist. We're like a blastocyst. Oh, jeez. Wow. I was zygotes usually where people go, but no. I pulled that one out from way back. Anyway, we're really new. We're a blip on this continuum of quilt, history and stuff. And we're just trying to do a thing. But people who have come before us, who make the museums and the institutions and the organizations, it's amazing. The Modern Quilt Guild, for heaven's sakes. I mean, these people have been doing their thing for a while, and we should never forget that, right? One day people will be like, oh, Quilt Nerd. Oh, we owe them so much. Let us give to the library, the quilt library that has been built in their name. Oh, yeah. Goals, man. Okay, real quick thing, just so you know, in case you forgot, there's many ways to support Quilt Nerd. I'm not going to take long for this. Believe me, I want to go to the next thing. Oh, even more than anyone else, I want to go to the next thing, but I have to do this. The time, people, has come. You need a stocking stuffer? Do you need a do you? You do. Quilt Nerd book plates, man. Let me get rid of everything. We got to look at all this. The Quilt Nerd book plates, people asked for them, nay, demanded them. And I'm here for it. I love it. I think it's great. Quilt Nerd book plates, they're so much fun. I have put one in every book since they've arrived. I've put Oh yeah, okay. These little guys are saying that they want some. Okay, yeah, well. Oh boy, I want some. Same, he says. Since I got them cheaper than they were before, I've put one in every book I've used on this show ever since. Look, a live demo. How about this? This is the book that the Marx essay is in. Oh, sorry about that. Look at this. Oh, it looks so good. Yes, that's right. Quilt Nerd approved. So, I don't know. They must be so expensive. Surely I cannot afford these beautiful book plates. I don't know. I mean, maybe not. Yeah. Oh, you can. You can afford them. Oh my God. This is what they cost. You have to order 5. I can't be mailing a single book plate, people. What do you take me for? What am I supposed to do? All the shipping and handling. That's me. I'm doing it. So you got to order 5. It's $5. $1. They're $1. But they're even less if you get more. Oh yeah. So if you order 10, they're $9. Take a screenshot of this. Take a screenshot. I'll move out of the way. Okay. I'll wait. What is the hotkey code for a screenshot? I'm giving you time to figure it out. So if you want to order some, it'd be fun. It really would be fun for a quilt nerd that you love to like send them that, right? In a Christmas card. It'd be super fun. But how do I pay? Yeah, how do I buy them? Well, check this out, they say. Our little red pandas. Cash App. Cash App, man. It's the way of the present. So if you want to buy some book plates, which are really fun, just send the money to Quilt Nerd. People have been doing it. It's a thing. It's like completely legitimate. Perhaps this very day or tomorrow, people will be getting some book plates that they ordered. So if you want to order some, remember, that's what you just, and the amount you send me, if you send me $13, I will know that you ordered 15, right? And I'll drop them in an envelope and send them to you. So it's fun, and you should totally do it. Oh yeah, I'm so excited. I love books. Yeah, me too. Oh man, this is great. So yeah, Quilt Nerd book plates. There you go. Okay, Quilt Nerd approved. Yeah. Okay, that's it. That's the ad. Okay, are you ready for this? We talked about me and Mom, right? I'm not bringing it back because I want to talk about my mom. I'm showing this picture because it's nice, and this was the holiday. Mom and I were, on Sunday, we talked about Joe Diggs, okay? Diggs, Joe Diggs, okay? We also looked at vintage pictures of my mother, since many of you were not, it was a VIP group, right, on Sunday, so only a select few of you saw the pictures of Marianne Fonz looking like a hottie. God.
You and your mom look so much alike.
You can't say that after I say she looked like a hottie. That's not what I'm trying to do.
No, seriously. I mean, you see that the Fonz children do not fall far from the Marianne Fonz tree because you guys look so much like your mom.
Really?
When she was younger.
Really?
Yes. I could just see it. Yes. There's like that Hannah, Rebecca, Mary quality that, yes, you guys inherited from her.
Well, okay. While we're scrolling, while we're doing our thing, I am gonna grab a picture of my dad though, because my dad. Well, he doesn't come up a lot, but he does come up. I'll grab a picture of him too. Oh well, here it is. All right. I mean, it's I have baggage, right, about my dad because he wasn't around. I mean, he kind of. He cut out, he had things to do.
I saw that one picture of your dad, and I would not have chosen to say that man is your dad, but I could have looked at a picture of your mom and said, that is definitely your mom.
Yeah? Okay, what about this guy? What do you think about that? That's my dad. I mean, I feel like, and there's other pictures of my dad, wow, that's weird. My dad without a shirt on the internet. Anyway, God help me, he's on the internet without a shirt on anywhere else. But, no, he's, like I said on Sunday, like, I think my mom looks like Princess Diana. I do. And did you see that, by the way, when I was showing pictures of Princess Diana? Don't you? I mean,
I think that what she said, it's like the way she holds her head.
Yeah.
And probably also like the hairstyle and stuff. I think it's kind of like her mannerism.
Okay, cool. Very similar. Yeah. And it could just be being like, my mom's pretty, but yeah. I mean, anyway, yeah, I look like my mom. I don't know. There's just a very Fonz look. Whatever. So that's my dad. So we were talking about Joe Diggs. Let me get back to the point. And in fact, so Mom has these two dresses made by Joe Diggs, the late Joe Diggs, who passed away in, was it September? Was that recently, wasn't it? I think it was September.
I think that's what your mom said, yeah.
Yes. And Joe was, beyond gifted. I mean, we spent time on Sunday really talking about Joe Diggs and who she was and the art that she made, and it was a revelation because Mom knew her. We watched videos about her. Fascinating. And I didn't plan that content. I just knew Mom and I would hang out with y'all and do stuff. But then Mom was like, let's talk about Joe. And I was like, sure. And then when I came into, I went into the spare bedroom, the guest bedroom, and Mom had laid out these dresses, and this is just one of them. But she had laid out these dresses made by Joe Diggs, and this is the work, by this woman. And it's just like, oh my God, this is applique, this like placket. Look at the buttons. And there's a reason I'm showing this. This is not, for the people who were there on Sunday, this isn't just a rerun, of something that you saw. this is, I'm driving toward a point here, but I mean, those loops, for those of you who make garments, I mean, God, like, I wore one of the dresses and Mom wore the other one. It was super fun. And you know, we talked about these clothes and the different clothes that she made and the way she did applique. Okay. I mean, I got to put the chat back up. Hang on one second. I like the chat. It's a live stream, man. Oh, and I'm going to move over. Wee! Oh, I'm in a flower. Wee! Okay. I'll go back to my little space. Okay. So I loved these dresses. I wanted to wear it longer. And this was the one my mom wore. Look at the wovens. You know what? Is that K facet? I mean, that, or maybe
there were a few fabrics in some of her fish quilts where I was like, that really reminds me of a K facet design, but I wasn't sure like how long ago and if it, you know, maybe it just was a coincidence.
I mean, I think it's about right. That looks like a cave stripe. You know what? There's some cave heads. What do they call like diehard cave fans? There's got to be a name. Fansets. Cave heads. I don't like that, but it kind of works anyway. This is like a shot cotton. Clearly, I mean, it's right. I think maybe it's a woven. Anyway, it looks very cave. Does anybody recognize it? Oh, Core Quilt just donated. That's awesome. Dee Marie says her work is perfection in both design and execution. Joe Diggs, exactly. What a talent. 1,000%. Amazing. Hey, Carrie Dell. I was actually thinking about you today because I was like, if Carrie Dell's on the show or in the chat tonight, I need to ask her, what's my deadline for getting back to you about the AQSG enamel pins? Just throw it in the chat if you would. It's before the next board meeting. I know that I have... I know it's December, but I think if it's December 1st, I know what I'm going to do tomorrow morning. Anyway, I don't want to miss it. Anyway, so here's the deal. So I'm wearing this dress. I'll get pictures of the other one. The one that I wore, it was way more dated. It was like taupe and navy and very sort of 70s, frankly. This one was a little more updated. See, I mean, look at this. Look at this thing. Isn't this great? Look at that. And it looked great on my mom, you know? Oh my God. So then I'm like, yeah, I'm very, very ready to change my look, right? My fashion look. L-E-W-K. That's how you say it. And remember, I've probably brought this up 90 times now, but I can't. I'm going to keep doing it. This Quilts and Quilting book that I got at the Strand Bookstore in New York City when I was visiting Hannah. Remember this? You remember this picture? Oh, yes, that's right. You're going to see it again and again and again because I love the dog, okay? I'm the same size. I love the dog. I want the dog, okay? But the coveting of these clothes, this 1990s tunicky, wearable, linen, shot cotton, woven look. I don't know. I'm getting obsessed, Stephanie. It's a problem. I'm now a woman of a certain age. You know what? Can you imagine? Like if I showed this, if anyone's watching, listen, we have viewers of all ages. If there's a 25-year-old quilt nerd watching, and you know what? We do have them. I happen to know. If Echo So's young. She's really young. I don't know if you're watching right now, but Luke. Stephanie, will you write down what my deadline is for Carrie Dell if she mentioned it? Because I missed it. Anyway, I need it. But I mean, me at 20, I'd be like, you mean the clothes that are in the back of my mom's closet from Quilt Market, 1987? No, thank you. But now I'm 43, and life has made me want to be comfortable because life is very difficult. That's right, and full of pain. Yes, that's right. I want headbands, and I want wrapped things because I'm tired and I'm sad, okay? And I want beautiful things that look beautiful in a different way, okay? I was single. I wore a lot of high heels. I'm married. It's a beautiful thing. I loved being single. Now I want a dog and I want those shoes, okay? No, I want that hem. I don't like the shoes, but I want that hem. Okay. So between Joe Diggs's dress and this picture, I start to think, okay, let's look at this clothing thing. All right? Let's look at what that moment was in terms of quilts and fashion, and what is the deal with that. Because the other day, because of this blinking picture, okay, which you have to admit, I mean, the styling of this shot, to die for. The dog is perfect. I mean, what, are they going to have a golden doodle? No. It's the Spanish spaniel mixed with a Dalmatian or whatever it is. It's perfect. So what do I order? I order this. We have an Abe Books affiliate link for this book by Mary Mashuta. Mary Mashuta, I learned by leafing through this book, is Roberta Horton's sister. Some of you will know that. I didn't know that. I had no idea. But Mary Mashuta has written a number of books. I have one of them. It's about pictorial quilts. That was the first book I had by Mary Mashuta. But she made this book called Wearable Art for Real People. I love her. She looks like someone I know. It's frightening how close they resemble each other. Look at these as soon as I got it, I was like, oh, yep, this could be good, because this is the kind of woven, stripy material that, I'm into. Mishral, it's so good to see you. I'm in my 50s, says Mishral, and have weeded everything out of my wardrobe that doesn't feel as comfy as pajamas. It's fantastic. Yes! That's beautiful. Mishral, I like you. You just don't go nowhere, okay? I like quilts more than quilt clothes, says Susan R. Michael. Totally down with it. Stitch and Deb, hello. It's a Saluki dog. A Saluki? Really? Okay, I'm writing that down. I want a Saluki dog. I should say I love Saluki dogs. I mean, this seems a little bit, I love them. They're beautiful. Okay. So I start flipping through. Look, this is the back of the book. That's nice. So she's pieced this. I mean, obviously, right? Like, here's our seam allowance. So this is she's manipulated the fabric to be, in these wonderful shapes, right? So to me, this looks a little bit like Shizuko Kuroha, right? Some Japanese quilt makers. Here's some wonderful pictures. Oh, when was this made? When was this book published? It was published. Boy, I really love doing this show, I don't know if you can tell, but I have such a good time with y'all. 1989. Okay? I was 10, and I probably loved my mother's clothes at that point, then hated them for decades, and now I'm back. Look at these. Now, you're thinking about Joe Diggs, right? We're thinking about these patchworkers who are making clothes. Now, what we're going to do, and I can't linger too long, we can come back to the still shots, but I found an 11-minute video that was made by PBS, Craft in America, right? We love this Craft in America series, and we've never watched the segments on quilting. Joe Cunningham, Victoria Finley Wolf, which is Citizen Richard, one of his very good friends, maybe his best friend, I don't want to say, but he's very close to Victoria. Just outed you there, but you outed yourself, so I think it's okay. But a really good friend of Richard's is Victoria Finley Wolf, who was featured on the Craft in America series on PBS. We haven't watched any of those things. Geez, Ben, quilters were there, but there's Ken Burns, but there's a piece on wearable art, on textile wearable art, which is what Mary Mashuta called her book, right? Wearable art for real people. So I started to watch it, and it's exactly what we're talking about. And so we're going to watch it. Look at this person. We'll come back to her too. I was casting about, okay, for fiber artists who make clothes, who make garments, wearable art. It's the thing, man. Rachel Clark, okay? Look at this. Look at these clothes. I mean, this color scheme, not for me. It's too primary, right? Same with the Yvonne Porcella, right, up here. This is wild. Wow. I mean, It's a little Alexander McQueen, to be honest with you, which I love. But these sort of bright colors, it's just not my palette. Who cares? If it was done in, something else, I would love it. So Rachel Clark has kind of got that palette going on in this case. But that's the designer there on the left, Rachel Clark. Look at her. Oh my God, what a little scamp. This is from her website. But look at this. Beautiful. Oh wait, is the other one here? I know I'm going quickly, but I'm just excited. Look at that coat. I mean, I don't know. There's a quote. There's something that a person says in this video that I have queued up that really kind of gave me pause. And it was like, well, you'll hear it. I mean, it's like, mass-produced clothes are soulless. And I was like, ooh, it burns. I'm like, yes, that you could make an argument that they are. But it's also complicated, right? Just like pricing quilts is complicated. Making your own clothing, it's not so simple as that, and some of the back to the land stuff, there's a lot of privilege involved, right? In like making your own clothes all the time. Like, who has time for that, right? So anyway, but it's a discussion that we can have on a show like this, and table talk about it, and also talk about it on the Discord. And when we say disco, we mean the Discord server, which is, it's just, it's a chat room, it's a server, man. I think that's a word I guess we all have to sort of have in our vocabulary now, but it's really fun when the show's not on. You get to hang out with other quilt nerds and talk about stuff and share pictures in the chat. We can't share images, but you can share images on the Discord and stuff. But it's invite only for subscribers. Okay, so let's check this out. Textile artist Deborah Cross and the Wearable Art Movement California episode. 14,000 views. Wow, 3 years ago. Okay. Always subscribe to these kinds of things that we show on the show if you want to, but definitely like the video. So this is 12 minutes. So, I mean, look, I had another thing tonight. We're not going to get to it. I knew it, and I knew it. That's why I didn't freak out about the other segment, because I knew that we would spend time on this and on the pricing quilts. Okay, here we go. Let's check it out. Yeah, M. Hicks is getting a flicker. If you ever have trouble, like, watching if it's lagging or something, close the browser or close the app, reopen it. It's not Twitch, it's not me, it's God. No, I'm kidding. No, it's just the internet. It's modern life, basically. So close it out and come back. Okay, come back, Marcia. We need you. Okay, here we go. Stephanie, the sirens, I'm telling you. Well, this is like the buffering and the city. What can we do? Okay, here we go. Kenny, I like what you said.
I think there's 250 craft studios in Santa Cruz. There's ceramic studios, glass studios. It's a great artist community.
Penny, you're funny.
I know people would say, oh, a California artist, but being creative is like who I am. Making clothes is who I am.
Being an artist, making clothes is who I am. This is a different thing from being a fashion designer, right? It's fascinating.
It's my world, and I love it. My mom sewed, and she taught us to sew. When I would say, junior high, my mom taught me on this machine, this little Singer, and it's just simple. It's not involved to thread, or it just makes me happy when I sit at this machine. I started out, of course, it was the 60s, and the 60s was all about back to the land. And so we wanted to make everything. I would get the raw wool and card it, and then I had to spin it, and then I would weave with the yarn that I spun. I had met Gordon. We were living together.
Sorry. I screwed up. I had to grab a thing because, sorry. There's a picture of Nancy Crow doing weaving that I have to find. Okay, sorry. I'm going to go back. apologize.
Make clothes.
Everything is
and
hard. Okay.
I would get the raw wool and card it, and then I had to spin it, and then I would weave with the yarn that I spun. I had met Gordon. We were living together, and I taught him to weave, and he would do the shows with me. I was doing scarves and pillows, and I was doing carpets. I kind of business-wise knew that women were going to spend more on clothes than on carpets.
She's great. Look at that beauty. Wow. Woo.
So I wove and made clothes.
The music was outrageous. People were growing their hair long, and then all of the flamboyant clothing. There was also all the crochet and the beads. It was just part of the laid back, really relaxed, something to do with your hands.
Huh.
I would like to say it's all a haze, you know. If you remember it, you weren't there.
It was an overall rebellion. People wanted to choose sides. One way was to dress appropriately or not. I see wearable art as something that really rises above
sorry.
way above the average, and becomes something other than just a coat or your grandmother's hand-knitted shawl.
Wearable art is clothing made by people who identify as artists, usually from their own handmade textiles.
Hold on.
And
let's go back. Also, because we now know where the captions are. I'm in the hat. Okay, let's come over here. I want to go back because, you know, when we talk about art quilts, the go-to definition, I'll say it 1,000 times because it took me a very long time to figure out, like, what's an art quilt? And yes, the discussion about what's art and craft, you know, around here, at least I say I'm art, craft, non-binary, okay? I don't believe in an art craft hierarchy. I don't believe that there should be a distinction. It's crap. It should be rejected as long as we keep, asking, are quilts art? And as long as people keep answering, we keep that hierarchy in place. So, but the way that you can sort of explain or define or identify an art quilt or something is a quilt that's made for the wall. A piece of art that's made for the wall that's made out of fabric, right? A quilt that's made for the wall is an art quilt. And so I'm looking for definitions, right? And I want to go back to how that woman defined wearable art, okay? So let's go back.
people who identify as artists.
A knitted shawl rises above the average, way above the average, and becomes something other than just a coat or your grandmother's hand-knitted shawl.
Wearable art is clothing made by people who identify as artists.
Clothing made by people who identify as artists. Interesting. I mean, how many times have we said garment sewer, right? Cake, you know?
Usually from their own handmade textiles.
Usually from their own handmade textiles. Think about Yvonne Porcella. Think about a couple other people I have, yeah.
And originally it was pieces that were one of a kind.
Good call, Susan. Agreed.
This coat was commissioned and created for me. The elements are just so dramatic.
And though I called another, Abra came. What is that? Nerds, do your worst. Is Abra came? I mean, is that biblical? Is it Hebraic? Abra sounds like Judaism or something.
It was a wonderful piece. I love it. I still love it. Janet Lipkin incorporated interesting materials in her work, predominantly crochet, but a lot of them are embellished with beads. I wish I were a better hat person. I would have worn them far more.
Wearable art in California grew out of the handmade, do-it-yourself impulse. And the idea that mass-produced clothing is soulless.
There it is. Let me tap it back.
And the idea that mass-produced clothing is soulless.
Clip it. Repeat it. think about it. I don't know. Everything I'm wearing is mass-produced. Don't think I haven't thought about it.
Tie-dyeing, the quintessential hippie decorative technique, is a very simple form of shibori dyeing.
Right.
It is one of the key techniques for artwear. A lot of artists were using the garment as metaphor.
Interesting.
You have garments that anthropomorphize people. You have garments that are political.
Catherine Westphal. That sounds so familiar. Stephanie, do you recognize that name, Catherine Westphal? Oh my God, I totally do, but I can't think how. Thank you, Scrapitude.
Westfall seems kind of familiar.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Hey, Caitlin. Yes, that's fair. That's fair, Caitlin. I agree. I really do. Interesting. God, hey, Padma, you all have very interesting things to say. Catherine Westphal, it sounds so familiar. Okay.
You have garments that are landscapes. And many people were thinking of these garments not only as hanging on the body, they were also thinking about them as hanging on the wall.
Yeah, Lisa. Oh.
There was this dual wearable, unwearable aspect to them. It began with the textile and this laborious, loving, obsessive hand-making process.
Wow.
I want to see the red one. This one, yeah.
Sure, is that?
Yeah.
Huh.
When I saw what other weavers were doing, it was like the cocoon was much more flowy, unconstructed, and I knew I could do better.
I like her.
I knew how to sew clothes, so I could do my woven.
Look at she wove that material. She wove the material that she used to make a jacket that she designed. Holy hell.
But make it more fitted. If you cut hand woven, it just falls apart. And people always thought, oh, that must have been scary to cut up your woven. But you know what? The fabric means nothing unless you make it into something where somebody loves to put it on. That's a really good feeling.
Oh, sorry.
Doing the craft shows, whether they were rinky-dink outdoor shows
Where's that?
or at the Smithsonian, people were...
That's the Smithsonian Craft Show, so if you ever want to be there, which I instantly did want to be there, that's where it is. God. Oof. I want to weep. It's so beautiful. Okay.
Like, oh my God, you made this? And that's part of it. I couldn't wait to get back to the shop and create. I love that aspect of it.
So good.
We travel to all the major cities, probably about 10 shows a year. I mean, that's the fun of it. You know, the best part is going and selling.
This is their life. I know I'm stopping a lot, but I'm excited. You know, it's glamorous. You're at the Smithsonian. You have these garments. They're probably a lot of money. The reality, you've got 3 washer and dryers and pots on the stove. You know what I mean? It's just good. It's good to see. This is a great series because of that, right? It's not glamorous until it is.
Talking to the people coming home and making it is another whole other thing.
Oh, the color's coming out really nice.
And you know, California is a great place.
She's in
to
her
have your
nice
studio
sweater. What are
and
you
work
doing?
on, you know, art and craft.
I've been working with Rosa Martinez for almost 30 years, and she is amazing. When we work together, we look at the piece, I say, Rosa, you know what? I'd like the collar to be higher or more. Oh, okay. We are just on the same page. Oh, great. You know, I really like
30 years.
doing the seams on the outside. Okay.
What? Whoa, that's so cool, man. You know, I didn't plan on wearing this thing because I just hated my shirt. It's perfect, right? This, like, woven thing. Anyway, it's cool.
That really worked out.
We read our minds. She marked the fabrics and I do the cuttings. In Mexico, I went to the pattern school and sewing school. I love my work. It's my passion.
Hey, Earth Girl.
Part of the reason wearable art has been such a quintessentially California form are the places to study. UC Davis, UC Berkeley, California College of Arts and Crafts. Many of the artists came from non-fiber programs, and several of the early Bay Area artists started by painting on fabric.
Friend said, Sylvia, you don't wear clothes, you wear pieces.
Hang on. Did she say California College of Art and Craft? I gotta tab it back, sorry. I wanna look that up.
Many of the artists came from non-fiber programs, and several of the early Bay Area artists started by painting on fabric.
Friend said,
sorry.
She marked the fabrics, and I do the cuttings. In Mexico, I went to the pattern
Sorry, I have to go back because she named a
and
couple
sewing
colleges
school.
and universities. I gotta look them up, you know?
I love my work. It's my passion.
Also, what
Part of
schools are
the
in
reason
Mexico? Okay.
wearable art has been such a quintessentially California form are the places to study. UC Davis, UC Berkeley, California College of Arts and Crafts. Many of the artists came from non-fiber programs, and several of the early Bay Area artists started by painting on fabric.
Wow, look at that.
Friend said, Sylvia, you don't wear clothes, you wear pieces. Which is true. I've always referred to this work as pieces, not
College of Art.
jacket,
Okay.
vest, whatever.
Thanks, Paula.
Kaylee Manuel worked primarily with feathers and painted leather.
Wow. Oh my God. Wow. Do you see the illustration here in the center? Sort of like a rat with a pompadour. Fascinating.
This collar is very wearable. It just folds over the shoulders, ties in back, and forms to the body.
Jean Casacedo's raincoat. It's a felted coat. The words rain are punched into the coat. And the coat itself is slashed full of little raindrops. It's a raincoat that is a rain shower, but it's full of holes. You are never, ever, ever going to be able to keep the water off you. Kaizek Wang grew up in the Bay Area. He went to Pacific Basin College of Fashion. And Kaizek was involved in the avant-garde underground world in San Francisco. He loved ethnic fabrics, Guatemalan ikat, and China.
Oh my God. Oh, on the left. Do you see? I have to get rid of this thing. Look. California. She's under a street sign, California. Chinatown, right? I mean, those are characters under the... Oh, God. It's just too great. It's so good. And this...
Chinese brocade and lame. He loved lame. Kaizek was doing something very individual. In 2002, Balenciaga sent a vest down the runway, and it was a dead ringer for a vest that Kaizek had designed in 1974.
Indeed, Balenciaga.
You can't copyright any of this stuff. Yeah,
If you have the talent, you reinvent and move on. You don't, you can't protect anything.
Right. Yeah, it's true.
People were so creative. There were some just
Look at...
fabulous pieces of work.
Oh my God, that's not a drawing. It looks like a drawing. It's fiber. Oh
that were so inventive, and as clothing, they weren't always the most comfortable things to wear. You felt like a walking sculpture.
You need a certain confidence to carry off a major piece of clothing so that you are wearing it.
Life can be so sweet on the sunny side of the street, and get your hat, leave your worry on the doors. That's a song lyric, I think.
Instead of having it wear you.
This is Janet Lipkin. It's a sweater/jacket. The elements are flower shapes, petals. The collar will go up into a full sort of blossom effect around the face. It's a really nice example of her freeform crochet. I used to wear it all the time back in New York, but I couldn't go a half a block without being stopped by people. What is it? Who made it? How did you get it? And on and on and on. If I got
really
to
true.
the point where, I'm serious, I could not wear it if I were in a hurry or that. I had to just leave it at the hotel. That was California. That was the impact it had. I mean, that really was California influence.
I decided to make the transition from weaving myself to buying the fabric, just opened a whole world for me.
Wow.
I could take some of the color out and over dye it, embellish it, do my appliques on it. I can airbrush out a color I don't like. It's just endless.
Look at that. God, that's pretty. It wouldn't, it's on the right person, that's like a dream.
It's what I can do.
Wow.
It's like I have this canvas in front of me, but it's a garment. Living in California, the whole wearable art movement was happening, and it was so exciting to see all these artists. But it was conceptual clothing. And I knew I didn't want to do conceptual clothing, but that was an influence, that world of conceptual wearable art.
Hold on. So she's saying that wasn't what she wanted. Did you hear that, Stephanie? She said she didn't want to do conceptual clothing. I got to tap it back. Is that what she said? That she was actually not?
I kind of lost track what she was saying because I was looking at the fact that I think she's making that on a featherweight.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Good God, no, it's fine. I'm like, what did she say? Interpret what she said immediately. I mean, yeah, not demanding, but just like putting on the spot. Yeah, totally. I'm blown away by literally everything I'm looking at. Okay, hang on.
And it was so exciting to.
Okay.
Living in California, the whole wearable art movement was happening, and it was so exciting to see all these artists. But it was conceptual clothing.
Okay.
And I knew I didn't want to do conceptual clothing, but that was an influence, that world of conceptual wearable art.
Interesting.
I'm more wearable design. They're wearable art.
Interesting.
I'm not sure I agree with her. Although there is not necessarily overt content in Deborah Cross's work. There have always been people in this movement who concentrated on making beautiful clothes.
There it is.
And so to be called wearable art for just sheer physical aesthetic beauty, I think that's perfectly legitimate.
I like that woman. She reminds me of Martha Seelman at Sakwa. Hang on. Look at that still. Yeah. Grits and butter. I like what you had to say. They're so beautiful, Angelina, right? Yeah, she's sewing on a featherweight. Anyway, I like her piece here too. And I like how she was like, I don't know if I agree with her that she's not making wearable art, right? Again, it's this what's design and what's art, It's a discussion none of us who are watching this right now will ever see the end of. One day there may be a change, but probably not while we're alive.
I think that's perfectly legitimate.
California, I think, had the ideas of design. The artists in California, they were different. It did look different. There's something in California mentally that's just more freeing.
Yes.
It really is a creative state.
That was the Craft in America episode on California, right? Which I need to watch it. I need to watch it all. Because, Nancy Bavor at AQSG Seminar talked about California. She talked about the art quilt, and how absolutely it was born, there was Ohio, there was Massachusetts, but really the art quilt as we know it, the studio art quilt, it's California, man. It's totally California. So I was kind of seeing Myra, right? It was so cool, right? Really fun to watch. Hey, Miss Eleni. Northern or Southern California, both equally fascinating. Very good question. I think Southern California, I'll tell you this much. Here's what I know. Hang on, before I get big again. Gotta put on some lipstick. I've been eating chips. I think, San Jose, okay, so Southern California, seems to be, like, if I were to answer that question off the cuff, which is always a bad idea, but Southern California, you had like Jean Ray Laurie, you had I'm forgetting all of them now. But you know what? One of the books that we haven't talked about yet, Stephanie Cake, can I show you this on the down low and you make a books affiliate link for it? Do we have it?
Yes. We might, because I know you've shown that one before, but I'll look.
We have. Okay,
good.
Art Quilts Unfolding, man. Nancy Bevore is one of my heroes, and I don't know if she's a nerd or not yet, but one day we will capture her. But this is an amazing book by Sakwa, Art Quilts Unfolding, right? 50 years of innovation. And there's a lot about, the California influence. Therese May, I can't start talking about people who were in California because I'm going to get it wrong. Michael James was in Massachusetts, I know that. Carolyn Maslumi is in Ohio. Here I go. Well, Kate Massapust, Kate Pasquini, Massapust, California. Joan Schultz, Sunnyvale, California. Thank God this book is so beautifully designed and I can see where people are. And you know what? Look at this. Ellen Oppenheimer, one of my favorites. Look how this book is designed. They have where the person is from as they go through all these artists. Ellen Oppenheimer, San Francisco, California. Carol Breyer Fallard, Washington. Thanks a lot, Carol, messing up my point. No, I'm just kidding. Noriko Indo, Tokyo. But anyway, so they've got like the location of them, which I think is really fascinating if you're talking about this development of this particular form, right? Joan Schultz, Women of Colors Network, Women of New Mexico. Okay, anyway, so California was really a huge part of the whole art quilt thing. So check this out. So we've talked about Yvonne Porcella. Look at my terrible. Oh my God! I thought I did so good with my my green screen, but you know what? Maybe you just thought it was part of the art. Yeah, this little problem over here. Okay. So let me just show you really quick. And then we gotta cut out, right? I have to do a poem. I'm gonna say 14 lines of poetry for you. We
do have one important thing
left
to do.
Please. Oh yes, we gotta do the giveaway.
Our drawing.
Oh my God. Yeah. We gotta do the giveaway. Okay, I'm gonna grab that. All I'm gonna do, the only thing that's left is that I'm gonna show you. We'll read more about. Oh, I gotta get small. We'll read more about Rachel Clark. We're going to come back to this. Because there's more to say about this. There's more to talk about. Look at this. You remember this stuff? We talked about Yvonne Porcella. And I don't know, now in context of what we've seen tonight, I'm not entirely sure what Yvonne meant to be worn and what meant to be hung on the wall. Was it wearable art? Was it conceptual art? She's considered a studio art quilter. She founded Sakwa, for God's sakes. She founded Sakwa. So now I'm looking at all this stuff in a new way, because what is this? I don't have the date on it. Damn it. But in 1980s, right? And so I don't know. I don't know. I love looking at fiber art because when you look at anything you look at in context, it just gets more interesting because people are interesting and art is really interesting, and that's why
I love that dress or coat or whatever it is.
You're
it's
into
my
it?
favorite thing in the world.
Yay!
Yes, I've taken screenshots of it.
Woohoo! It's called Over the Rainbow.
Even if it's meant to be on the wall, I would wear that in a heartbeat.
You know what? Yes. I have met you IRL and I know you pretty well digitally at this point. This would be amazing on you. It really would. It's perfect. And your beautiful red hair cascading down. Yes. Yes. Yes.
I suspect this one was meant to be worn.
Yeah, I do too. It's called Over the Rainbow by Yvonne Porcella. And it's wonderful. The lining alone, that wonderful green with the little rosebuds. I love it. And look at the little heart in the checkerboard. Perfect. Yeah, Sherlock would wear it too. Kenny. Oh, okay. You're not going to wear it, but you second that it's a cake coat. See, we all had dinner together, you and me and Cake. You could pull it off too. Everybody loves it. So, okay. So let's do this. So let's do the giveaway. Let's draw for the November giveaway. And then I will bid my adieu. And don't worry, it's not like you can just leave. After you know that you won or didn't win the November giveaway, I won't be offended. Don't worry. Okay. So for November, what do we have for subscribers? If you subscribe at any level, you get entered in the giveaway. Oh, speaking of Stephanie Cake, a Quilt Nerd fan, for when you're so hot in your wearable art, you just like need a mow. Oh yes. Oh my god. What? What? What does it say? What is it? Southern California. I'm giving away an issue of the Southern California issue of Quilt Folk. I have a couple, I have, as the editor at that time, I know a guy, right? I have a few extra pristine, unread issues of Quilt Folk magazine. And you get one, man. And a note from me, and a fan by Stephanie Cake, but that's not it. Susan McCord. Susan McCord was one of the most famous quilt makers in America. And when we were in London last month, and we went to the Kay Facet exhibit, there was a quilt that was based on one of Susan McCord's quilts, and it's one of my favorite quilts of all time. I say that a lot, but it's true. Look at this wool crazy quilt. It looks like wheels. It's wonderful. Anyway, you get this. It's coming apart a little bit, but don't worry. I mean, it's pretty old, but it's a wonderful book with brilliant, beautiful pictures of, I don't know, 12 or so of her quilts. Wonderful. You get all of that just for subscribing to the show. Well, if your name's drawn. Stephanie Cake, who is the winner? It's fun to win. Okay, who wins?
So real quick,
yes.
For anybody who joined a little bit late,
yes.
Jill asked me to recap again the Tewsdee giving. We are going to be selecting and you know what? I think I saw Iowa Randall here.
Yay, Randall!
Yeah. So we are gonna every Tuesday in December we are selecting a museum to get Quilt Nerd love if you should decide to donate to them, and you'll have from Tuesday to Saturday to make that donation. Send us a screenshot of your receipt or whatever their thank you thing that they send you, and we will send it to us and we'll put it in a drawing for a special drawing on Saturday. And we're going to rinse and repeat that all through December. And of course, our first museum is the Iowa Quilt Museum, because
Yay!
they have been so nice and lovely and generous to the show.
Sure have. Thank you, Randall.
So, Iowa Randall, I think you probably have a few donations already.
Yay! I hope so. Mom doesn't even know about this cake because it came up. You and Jill Alex were scamping around and came up with this today.
Yeah, we figured if Marianne Pons can make executive decisions, we can too.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and by the way, I'll make a better thumbnail soon, but doesn't this particular version of scone just look like, please give? Please donate. Please give.
Please give so a panda like me can continue to enjoy textiles at beautiful museums.
I love Quilt Nerd so much. Okay. Good.
Okay, so I will dispense with my usual pretending like I'm drawing from something and just hit the enter on the randomizer.
Yeah, great.
And it is Log Cabin Girl.
Log Cabin Girl, yes! Oh my God, Log Cabin Girl.
Yep. I think you are here.
I've seen you. I mean, I don't know you, but I've seen you. Maybe you're in the Lurker Lounge sometimes, but you do show up and say hi. I love it. I love to see it. If you're still around, that's so cool. Congratulations. That's so great. So I'm going to send you this thing. I'm going to say, look what it says.
So,
it says,
Log Cabin Girl, if you're listening, if you're still here, I think I saw your name. Reach out. Give us your contact info. If you are watching this on the rerun, then please email us at quiltnerdshow@gmail.com.
That's great. Way to go. I mean, you did it. No, you did. You did do it. You subscribed and your name was in the mix and you got the giveaway. And this show's going to be on forever, so I mean, somebody else just keep subscribing and it could be you. Okay, so congratulations, Log Cabin Girl. I really appreciate your continued support. You've been around for a hot minute, and I really appreciate that. Okay, everybody, I'm not gonna linger. I'm gonna do this, and then we're gonna say goodnight. It's been a great show. I love being with you. So here we go. Because of Bertha Mextroth, okay, and this picture, by way of a quilt nerd, word and bird nerd, I learned a sonnet by Elizabeth Barrett Browning. I think maybe I'm gonna change to this, slightly more artistic. Okay. And the siren song of Chicago in the background. It's really perfect, right? It's just what it is. Okay. This is Sonnet 29 by Elizabeth Barrett Browning, 1850, okay? I can't do it with the siren. Just hang on. Just hang on. And I'm going to try to just make it very realistic, right? Not cringy. Okay, anyway. When I did Poetry Slam at the Green Mill for a long time, there was this thing we said, just read the poem, you know, stop talking and just read the poem. Okay. I think of thee. My thoughts do twine and bud about thee, as wild vines about a tree put out broad leaves, and soon there's naught to see except the straggling green which hides the wood. Yet, oh, my palm tree, be it understood, I will not have my thoughts instead of thee, who art dearer, better. Rather, instantly renew thy presence, as a strong tree should. Rustle thy boughs, and set thy trunk all bare. And let these bands of greenery, which ensphere thee, drop heavily down, burst, shattered everywhere. Because in this deep joy, to see and hear thee, and breathe within thy shadow a new air, I do not think of thee. I am too near thee. That's Elizabeth Barrett Browning by way of Bertha Mextroth, y'all. Quilts will take you everywhere. Don't forget it, tell somebody else, and never be ashamed to be a nerd because, like, dude, we have so much fun. Okay. Stephanie Cake, I love you so much.
You too, Mary. And I love the fact that you can memorize a sonnet. I could get past, like, the first 2 words.
It's hard, man. It's hard. But you know what? I got that theater training. We did Shakespeare, so I know how to, like, score the thing. I mean, it really takes a lot. And here's one quick thing about memorization. If you don't understand what the line is, you can't memorize it. You gotta know what you're saying, and that's like seems simple, but I mean with Shakespeare and Elizabeth Barrett Browning, any of that stuff, if you gotta really, and I'm not telling you this, Stephanie, but like a person who's learning something like that, you've got to figure out what it is actually that they're saying. I mean some of the lines are just like I don't know, and there's one I'm learning now where she talks about the asphodel, like one who stands in dewless asphodel. Asphodel's a flower or it's a plant, and I don't know, but it's a reference to a Greek myth, and it's like I had to figure it out, but when I figured it out, I realized what it was about, and it's so beautiful, but it takes a little time. But it's like sometimes you need something completely different to do. It's like I play Tetris, and apparently I learned some sonnets, because it's just like, yeah, context switch. Anyway, all right, everybody. Take care. Thank you so much for everything, support and donating to worthy causes. And we will see you on Friday morning. Get your coffee, get your donuts, 9 a.m. Central. More fun on Quilt Nerd. Thanks, everybody. I'm not going to cut off the show. I'm going to put on the screen that does go away. Okay, bye.
Walking around, feeling free, thinking about what's happened to me from July up till now. Don't know where, don't know how. Lately I've come to realize that I can see it in your eyes, so it's true. I'm so glad you feel it too. Nothing to hide, falling in love. We're falling in love. something, this thing that we got grows stronger. Each day we're together. On the way, oh, we're falling in love. To me, it's perfectly clear. We're falling in love. It's through this part of the year we have something in store for us. We're falling in love. Hey. Take. Walking around, you and me. The Christmas time's got the best of me. Then it starts to snow in our hearts. We both know that we're falling in love. To me, it's perfectly clear. We're falling in love. It's true, this part of the year, something in store for us. We're falling in love. We're falling in love. No, it's the time of the year when something's in store for us. 'Cause we're falling in love. That's right.